Hello and welcome back everyone to Canva course from basic to advanced. And for this lesson or for this chapter number 5, we will be working with images. So I'll be showing you how you can edit images, resize them in Canva with a lot more added edits as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So here we go. I have opened up Canva over here. Now I'm going to go ahead and select just an Instagram post over here, a square to work with. Now I'm just going to go with image from elements over here, going to photos over here. Now, as you can see, we have a lot of photos that we can work with. You can also use your own photo as well. If you want to go ahead and use your own photo, that's still all okay. Now I'll just go ahead and let's say drag this photo in here. Let me just go ahead and rescale it up. There you go, and put this right at the center over here. There you go. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and lock it. If you go and lock it, you cannot interact it. You can select it, you can unlock it, but you can select and then you cannot edit it anymore. So as we will be working with images, I'm just going to go ahead and use this image and work with this image. Now there are various ways that you can edit an image here in Canva. So you have animate over here. So let me go to animate, and as you can see, I can have an animation added to it as well if you were to make it into a GIF, but we do not want to make it into a GIF. We want to have an edit option to it. So I'm just going to go with no animation. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the animation from here. There you go. You can change the position over here. You can center it. You can align it toward the left, align it toward the right, however you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and use it over here. Now there are various other ways that you can also import an image in. So let me just go back to my elements over here. Go and add a grid, let's say. So let me just add a grid in, or I can just add a frame in as well. So I'll just go ahead and add a frame in. There you go. Now, as you can see, this is square as well. So I'm going to use this frame. And you can import an image into this frame the same way as before, just by dragging and dropping it in here. Now, if I were to go ahead and move this, as you can see, the image is not moving, the frame is moving. So how can you move the image inside the frame? You have to double click on it. Then this window will pop up. Then you can realign it like this. I'm going to realign it like this. And then press enter, and there you go. Now I can just realign it towards the center like that. Now you can go ahead and edit the photo from here. So once you click on this, now as you can see, there's a Magic Studio here. There's effects, there's adjust, and there's crop as well. I'll be going through all of them. Crop is basically the same as before. You can just crop it however you want to, aligning it towards the frame. You can press enter again to set it up. But I'm just going to go ahead, and there's a new option. As you can see, expand. There's also a crop, smart crop as well, and you can also rotate it however you want. I'm just going to keep it at auto over here, but as you can see, it zooms in. So I'm just going to press escape, but as you can see, that's not working. So I'm going to zoom out a bit and readjust this so that it fits in perfectly, and then we align it again and press enter. Then I'm going to zoom it back to fit. You can also make it full screen if you want to. So I'm just going to align it to fit and realign it towards the center. After that, going back to edit over here, the effects are self-explanatory. You can select any kind of effects. You have a background remover. So if I were to click on this, it's going to analyze the image, as you can see, and it's working right now. And once it has detected everything, as you can see, the background image has been removed. You can use the brush tool over here to adjust the lines of adjustment to remove any kind of background before. And you also have the restore option where you can restore the backgrounds like this, as you can see. So I'm going to press undo to remove that. You can also adjust the brush size, and when I click on done, the background now has been removed. So you can remove backgrounds from images using Canva as well, using the BG remover underneath Magic Studio. Then you have Magic Eraser tool over here. So if I were to go ahead and let's say click on this, this is basically works as same as a healing brush tool in Photoshop, if you've ever used Photoshop. But if you have never used Photoshop, what this brush basically does is it. Now let me go ahead and reset tools. So reset everything. What it basically is, let's say you have a skin complexion, you have a lot of freckles, right? So you could, with the magic eraser, you can go ahead and use it to smoothen out your skin. You can remove the freckles using that. So the magic eraser tool works like that. Then you have magic expand. So magic expand will make sure that your image expands. As you can see, you have a crop and expand. So the image you have selected can be expanded. Currently, images that are locked, rotated, flipped, or in frames aren't supported by magic expand, as you can see. So if my image is not inside a frame, but I cannot use that because it is inside a frame. So there you go. Then you have smart crops. Underneath smart crop over here, looks great already, as you can see. So smart crop will automatically crop your image to a size befitting of your project design. So that's all for crop. And underneath adjustment over here, you have auto adjust. If you were to click on this auto adjust, it's going to automatically adjust everything. Now, as you can see, this image had a lot of brightness. It auto adjusted and adjusted all the brightness and every aspects over here. So I'm going to go ahead and press Ctrl Z to undo everything. Now I'll go ahead and manually adjust everything. Now, as you can see, it's very bright. It's a very cool format as well. So I can go ahead and increase the warmth temperature of this image. As you can see, I'll just keep it at 40. There you go. Now you have the tint. The tint is like an overlay filter. So if I were to move it towards this side, as you can see, the tilt is working. So I'll just move it a little bit over here with the warmth. Now the brightness will affect how bright your image is. I'm just going to lower it down. I think this is perfect. I'll keep it at 35, minus 35. Then you have contrast over here. Contrast, if I were to decrease it or increase it, as you can see the difference. I'm just going to lower down the contrast so our image looks much more sharper. Then you have the highlights, which will increase the whiteness. I will increase it towards the max side. Then you have shadows. If I were to decrease it, the darker parts or the shadows will be much more darker. But if I were to increase it like this, as you can see, the shadows are almost non-existent. I'll just keep it at 50 instead of 100. There you go. The whites and the blacks are self-explanatory. The whites will increase the whiteness, the white spots or the high tones of your image, as you can see. And the blacks will increase or decrease the black spots of your image, as you can see. I'll keep them as they are, and default 0 to 0. Then you have color. So underneath color over here, you have vibrance and you have saturation. So if I were to increase the vibrance, it's going to make the pixels of near each other, the color pixels near each other, much more similar to each other to create a much more vibrant look. Now the saturation will increase the pungency of the colors. As you can see, if I would decrease it, it's going to make it black and white. Now underneath the color editor over here, if I would go here, I can go ahead and manually change the color of my image over here for those specific colors. As you can see, there's red, there's this color, and there's pale sky blue over here, and there's pale yellow over here. So if I were to go to yellow over here and change the color, as you can see, the color changes. So I want this phone not to be yellow. I want this to be matching this color, right? So I'm going to go ahead and match it accordingly to this color over here. And you have the brightness and the darkness as well. So I'll reduce down the brightness a bit, adjust the color so that it matches our color over here. And as you can see, it's almost similar. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one. Then underneath texture over here, you have sharpness, clarity, and vignette. Okay, so sharpness, if we were to increase it, as you can see, the image will become much more sharper. But I don't want that. I'll just keep it at 0 because I believe that the image here is perfect as it is. Then you have clarity. If I were to increase the clarity or decrease the clarity, as you can see, the clarity increases. I'll just increase the clarity up a bit. If I were to increase the sharpness now, as you can see, the sharpness increases as well. And the vignette will make sure that the borders are a bit darker. So I'll keep the borders a bit dark. There you go. So that's it for adjustment over here. You can also reset the adjustments as well. Now underneath effects here, you will have various forms of effects that you can use. As I've mentioned before, you have BG Remover, Magic Eraser, Magic Expand. You have Magic Grab now. So if I were to click on Magic Grab, it's going to grab the image over here. And as you can see, some parts of the image has been changed. The colors have been changed. I mistakenly moved the image outside and it got deleted. I'm going to go ahead and re-enable it again. Going back to our edit photo adjustment, I'll just auto adjust for now. This is going to take time to adjust them towards the settings, which I already set beforehand. So if I were to select on Magic Grab, as you can see, it grabbed my image right now. And as you can see, I only have the background. The characters are not here. It's because I grabbed them, right? So you can use the Magic Grab tool to make it like that. Then you have Grab Text. So Magic Grab grabs objects from the images from the background, like separates objects from each other. Where the Grab Text, for example, you have a text in your image, right? You can go ahead and use the Grab Text here to grab that text and edit that text. Now underneath filters over here, if underneath effects, you have filters. If you were to click on select see all, you'll see all the available filters here that you can go ahead and apply on. So as you can see, the natural, if I apply it, as you can see, the effect or the filter changes how my image looks, right? I can also increase or decrease the intensity. So I'll keep this one in because this one looks good. Then you have effects over here. So underneath effects, you have shadows, duotone, blur, autofocus, face retouch. So I'm going to go ahead and select face retouch, where it's going to go and detect this face of the objects, or detect the face of the people inside the image over here. And then you have smooth skin. So I can, if I were to increase this, it will make sure that the skin of my characters over here are very smooth. And as you can see the difference. If I were to turn it to 0, as you can see, complexity and the images and the roughness of the skin tone are now noticeable. But if I were to increase it, now as you can see, it has been decreased. So you can use the face retouch for this. And you have autofocus. Autofocus will focus on the faces. As you can see, it's focusing on the face over here, but as you can see, it's not that much perfect. So there will be some lines. So you have blur intensity over here. As you see, the blur intensity is focusing on the face only, and the background is being blurred, right? So I'll go ahead and decrease it. I think this looks good. And focus position, as you can see, you can focus the position. So I'm just going to go ahead and focus this position over here and increase the blur intensity. As you can see, the blur intensity increased. If we were to select that, it will invert. If we were to select this, as you can see, this will make sure that the background is blurred now. So I'll keep the blur intensity to a somewhat minimum. Now I'm just going to go back, but as you can see, there's some lines that you can see over here, which does not look good. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the autofocus. Then you have normal blur over here. So with the normal blur, you will have a brush. So you can manually add the blur in now, as you can see over here. I can go ahead, add a blur to however I want. I can adjust the brush size, as you can see, and the intensity as well. And I can go ahead and use the remove tool to remove the blur and add the blur again over here, as you can see. And the intensity, let me keep it at 10 for now. 10 is still too much. So we go ahead and decrease it down to 10. So this is one way that you can go ahead and use the blur tool over here. underneath like photo editing. Then I can go ahead and go back over here, and as you can see, the blur has now been placed. Then you have duotone. So underneath duotone, you have a lot of like filter like effects. You have this filter, you have this filter. As you can see, you have highlights and shadows, right? So let me go ahead and use a neon color as a highlight. There you go. And for the shadows, let me just go for black. There you go. So it's going to go, you can customize the duotone however you want as well. Underneath edit photo over here, underneath effects, then you have shadows as well. So you can have like this shadow which surrounds your frame or image, but we do not need shadows for this one. Then underneath apps, you have a lot of utilities that you can use. So if you were to use Pixify over here, this is created by Yomu Labs, as you can see. And as you can see, you also have the permissions. When this app is open in a design, it can read and change the contents of the design, access your uploaded media in Canva, and upload new media on your behalf. So anything that you can create with this will be uploaded, or this app will have the permission to upload it on your behalf. So it will seem like that you have uploaded or shared this. Now Pixify is a very resource hungry app, so it's going to take some time to load up, but you can also go ahead and close the Pixify app through there. I'm just going to go to edit photo again, and underneath apps you also have mockups. As you can see, if I were to open any kind of mockup, it's going to load up over here. Now as you can see, the mockups have loaded up. So let me just go ahead and use this mockup, for example. As you can see, this mockup has been selected right now. I can go ahead and put this image or save this image. I can right click on this, detach the image, there you go, and put this right on the mockup if I want to. So it's now loading into the mockup. As you can see, it's saying insert your image, right? Let me just put this image right over here, okay? And over here, I'm just going to go ahead, just keep this image right over here for now. I'm going to go ahead and delete that, put this image right over here. And I need upload over here. I can go ahead and drag and drop this image over here, but as you can see, it's not working. So you have to save this image as a separate file, okay? And then you have to go ahead and import this image inside this mockup. But for now, I'm just going to press undo. Now, why I undid it? Because if I were to go ahead and select this mockup, for example, as you can see underneath the uploads over here, or underneath design over here, or underneath elements over here, let me just go ahead and open up an image and just drag it and drop it onto this mockup. But as you can see, as I've already used this image inside this mockup, as you can see, it has already been placed on this mockup. So that's basically how you can also put images onto mockups to see if your edited image works perfectly or looks perfectly inside any kind of mockup or on top of any kind of mockup. Now, going back to edit photo over here, you have apps, you have mockups, which I showed. You have image upscaler. So if you have a low resolution image, with the image upscaler, you can go ahead and increase the resolution of it. If an image is not colored properly, you can use colorize over here. Now underneath apps over here, you can also access various forms of apps from apps over here in the UI to see which app or which kind of photo editing app goes well with your photo. So that'll be all for this lesson on how to utilize or edit your photos, or how to basically work with images. So that'll be all for this lesson, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.